Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. On today's video, I want to talk about, do pastured pigs have issues with predators, or can they take care of themselves? It's a question I've been getting a lot here lately, so let's jump into this. Come on. That's a big pig right there. That's a big pig. So about 3 weeks ago, I posted a video where I was just kind of hanging out here with Mongo for a bit in our woodlot pasture. And the video is talking about if you want to reclaim some raw land, then get pigs. And oh my goodness, I had no idea that video was going to take off. I think in 3 weeks it's 300 and some odd thousand views, so a lot more than my channel usually gets. Well, of course, that raised a lot of questions. Got a lot of people outside of the familiarity with our channel asking questions. So I thought, well, let's follow up and let's have a discussion about that. So a lot of people are wondering, hey, if you're going to do this, what's it going to take to keep your pigs alive because of all the predators that people have out in their neck of the woods? So maybe it'd be best to start with my experience and then we'll just broaden out, because I know not everybody is blessed to live in West Virginia and gets to experience all the joy and beauty of that. So what we experience here on the farm, of course, is we have black bear, we have coyote, we have bobcat, we have fox, we have raccoon, and we have possum. And that's kind of the whole list of predators we have when it comes to issues with farm animals that we've experienced. Now, some of those, as they get smaller, of course, are completely a non-issue. Fox, raccoon, possum, total non-issue when it comes to pigs for us. Now, black bear and bobcat and coyote, possibly an issue only with the piglets, but I have, in the 12 years that we've raised pigs out on pasture with many good litters out here, I have never lost a pig to a predator. Now, when you think about a black bear, that's the biggest animal we've got around here, and you compare him to, say, this fella right here. Yeah, that's my pants, let's not eat him. Then it's really not even a contest. The bear may have the advantage with the claws, but old boy here with his daggers for teeth, his tusks that he has, and just the fact that he's just all diesel, he's just all muscle here, he's going to be able to take care of himself with no problems. It's interesting, if you actually Google or search on YouTube where some potbelly pigs ran a black bear out of their little kennel that they were in, the bear climbed over the fence and the potbelly pigs actually ran them out. So pigs can actually stand their ground pretty well. Don't you think so, Mongo? Looking extra furry today. So what do I attribute the fact that we've not had any predator loss in the 12 years that we've had pigs here on the farm? Well, I'm no expert, so I can't say for sure it's one thing or another. It could be that our electric fence, we keep it hot, and of course, it's all the way around the area that our pigs are in, so any predator has to cross that. And it could be that they just sense that. Obviously, it's not a barrier, a physical barrier. They can jump over that. Anybody can jump over that. Even a pig could jump over it if you wanted to. So it may just be that they can sense the electric and don't have anything to do with it. It could be scent. It could be the smell of the boars or the smell of the sows. Just, hey, it's not anything they want to play with. Could be just a simple fact that since I have mature boars and sows, they just take care of everybody. So when there's piglets, small piglets here, it's not an issue because mom and dad are going to be here to take care of everything. It could be the fact that I keep my piglets close when they're the youngest, they're closest to the barn versus being out on some of these perimeter pastures. And it just could be the simple fact that about after 4 weeks old, those piglets can pretty much take care of themselves. I know that because there's times that I've had to try to catch them up to just inspect them, and it's tough to wrestle a 4-week-old piglet to the ground. So hateful. So you may not be aware, but I have a podcast that I host called The Pastured Pig. It's been out for going on 3 years now. We have over 90 some episodes. So there's been 90 plus interviews with pastured pig producers all across the country, and then some even in Australia. And everything from homesteads all the way up to large commercial pastured pig operations we have these conversations with. And it's interesting, the predation conversation doesn't come up much at all because it's really not an issue. I just can't recall any times that we've had someone say, oh yeah, my biggest fight or my biggest concern is predation. It's just very, very minimal. In fact, the stories that stick out the most, and it's just a handful that I've ever heard, were people out west, or maybe even the northwest, that deal with eagles. The big golden eagles or bald eagles that possibly come down and snatch the piglets when they're really, really young. Hey, the bucket's empty. Go on. So you can imagine how young a piglet would have to be for an eagle to pick that up. So again, that 2-3 week window there, that's going to negate the opportunity for an eagle to take advantage of that situation. So in answer to that question, do you need to worry about predators with pastured pigs? I would say, yeah, maybe, but probably not very common at all. In fact, I would put it very, very low on the list of the other farm animals. Now, I can't speak into the wolf and the panther situation. From what I know about panthers, I'm on the food chain when it comes to that, so that may be a whole different deal. So if you've got panthers, you may have to take more consideration in thinking about pigs on pasture, because 12-inch electric line off the ground isn't going to stop a panther by any means. They're always coming from above. So to value add this video a little bit more, I want to offer some tips to help you protect your pastured pigs, whether you deal with wolves, panthers, bears, coyotes, foxes, fisher cats, chupacabras, yetis, and mothman. We'll cover it all. So the first thing I would suggest is for your perimeter fence, so the fence that's furthest out to where all the predators are hanging out, maybe consider your hottest, highest fence being in that location. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, we're at most 2 feet off the ground. But maybe that's where you come back with some high tensile, 6 feet maybe, hot ground alternate, something like that. And that would deter most critters. You could obviously employ the benefits of a livestock guardian dog. Just make sure that when you introduce one, introduce them to the piglets and the piglets to the guardian dog. If you stalled off with a boar or sow, something that's been around the block for a while, that may be an issue, because it may be the boar eating the livestock guardian dog instead of the other way around. Another tip would be to create inner paddocks where your smaller piglets can hang out. So I'm here at the farrowing barn, which is kind of the middle of our pastures. For the predators coming in, they have to cross other pastures to get in. Now, if you have aerial predator issues like eagles, we don't really have eagles here to be an issue, and you've got a wide open pasture, just consider making some cover. The one person that I interviewed, when they had eagle issues, all they did was just put out large piles of straw so the piglets could dive into that when they saw an opportunity for a predator to come down, or if the sow gave a warning, it was a place for them to run to cover, versus having to run yards and yards and yards to either a building or the woods or a shelter or something like that. Now, my last tip has some sub points to that, and that tip is the farmer's shadow. You hear that about the garden, right? The best fertilizer for a garden is the farmer's shadow. But I would say the same with your animals. If you can take the time to keep track of your animals and follow them daily, just kind of do that checkup, then you can start to see if anything's going on, if something's sneaking in. So for example, I like to walk my fence lines on a regular basis and just see, is there sign of predator? And with that, being able to identify predator sign, looking at scat, looking at tracks, those type of things to figure out, oh, this is a predator issue we have here, or even putting up trail cams and checking those on a regular basis. And one thing I like to do when it comes to fence line is even walk that at night sometimes, so you can get an idea of what's out there. You can kind of listen, you can see, you can look around, especially here in the woods, to be able to pick up what's out there. Now, if you're going to do that, make sure you have a great flashlight. And speaking of great flashlights, I want to announce that Olight is having a Black Friday sale going on right now. And the focus is their mini Marauder, which is right now $139.99. It's a great price. I actually have the old Marauder, the X7R. This thing is a beast. It's like carrying a beer can around. It's a beast, and I have used this light for many, many years now, and it has never failed me. But it's a little bit chunky. But the Mini Marauder is everything this is, plus more. So the Mini Marauder has features like a 600-meter spotlight, so you can cast all the way across my valley. It has a 7,000 lumen flood, so we can light everything up if I need to, if I really need to see if some eyes are looking back at me. But it also has RGB settings, so I like to go red sometimes if I'm stumbling around or trying to find things, and it doesn't kill my night vision, especially on one of those moonlit nights where you got just enough light that your eye's adjusting, but you need to focus in on something. That red light really comes in handy. And it's also waterproof, so if you're standing out in the rain or you like to walk through mud puddles all the time, then you've got that covered. Well, I'm going to put some details down in the video description, and don't forget to use offer code RTH9 to take an additional 10% off. But hurry, this sale ends the 28th. So another suggestion I would make when it comes to the farmer's shadow is remove bait items from around your pasture. And you may be, Troy, what in the world are you talking about? Well, if you're a polyculture farm like we are, where we have chickens and we have broiler chickens and we have domestic animals and those type of things, and scraps from cooking or whatever, you don't have your compost pile right next to your piglet farrowing area, because that's going to bring in predators that may just come on over and check out your tasty piglets when they're freshly born. If you're a deer hunter, you obviously don't dump your deer carcasses by the edge of the pasture, so you're going to bring in predators. If you're a deer hunter and you've got pigs, you should know what you should be doing with that deer carcass. Free protein, bones and all, they'll take care of it. So as a dude, I can honestly say there's nothing more liberating than walking in the woods and urinating. There's just something about urinating in the woods that's just enjoyable. So I like to take that fun activity to the next level and be strategic in where I urinate. So there's times if I think there's predator issues or sign of something, then I'll urinate along that area, because human urine can be a deterrent. Evidently, we smell like a predator too to some of these predators, and that can help deter them. So maybe pee along your fence line. Just don't pee on your fence line if it's hot. And women, if you enjoy that too, hey, it's 2022. I don't want to get shut down if I would say you can't do it. So go out in the woods and take your best shot. Well, I hope you all found this video interesting, and I hope it answered the question about predators when it comes to piglets and pigs. And obviously, if you follow the channel, subscribe, hit that notification button. If we ever have any predator issues, I'm sure we'll do a video about it. So stick around and see what happens. We actually should have piglets, knock on wood, in the next couple months. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Take care.